Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, and as always, if you are new to my channel, I would humbly request you to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to receive the latest engineering videos that will be very beneficial for your engineering studies. Thank you. Alright, so the problem at our hand today is basically that it is required that the resultant force acting on the eye bolt in figure as shown to you in the figure is basically an hook is being shown to you, and in that hook, if you look at it, you have two forces. Okay, this is F1 800 Newton and F2 you do not have any magnitude and direction of it. Okay, so he says that on the positive x-axis, on this positive x-axis lies the resultant. Okay, the resultant of what? Of f1 and f2. The resultant is lying along the x-axis. You need to calculate basically the magnitude of this resultant. What will be the magnitude of this resultant? And you are also being required what will be the magnitude of f2, and you are also being required that to calculate the angle theta which this f2 is making with the x-axis. But there is a condition, and the condition is that along the positive x-axis where the resultant is lying, there is f2, but this f2 have to be minimum. Okay, it has to have a minimum magnitude. This is a very typical condition, a very specific condition. So we have to solve this problem in a slightly different way. Okay, so you will be seeing some different results from norm because of this unique condition that f2 have to be a minimum. Okay, so let's start this problem. Okay, and we see how basically we proceed. Okay, so we are here at the problem, and he says this is the question, and this is basically the figure of this problem. Okay, so one of the ways to start with this problem is basically the first thing that we can do is basically we can construct a parallelogram. Okay, if we basically construct a parallelogram, and you can from here basically, if you look at it, a parallelogram can be constructed here, or rather we can basically make it a bit more precise. From here, if we construct a parallelogram, okay, and we can construct it over here also. Okay, a parallelogram can be constructed here. Okay, so we can say this was f1, and basically this is f2. Okay, so in the same way, okay, we have this over here, and we have this over here, we have this over here, and again we have this over here. Okay, and we can basically we can have our resultant. Okay, so our resultant is if you look at it here, our resultant will be somewhere like this. If you look at it, it will be somewhere like this. Okay, so this is going to be our resultant. Okay, this is going to be our resultant. Okay, so this parallelogram has been created, and we have this as fr. Okay, so and remember, if this is f1, this is an f1 force, this is also f1, and if this is f2, this is also f2. Okay, and so let's proceed. Okay, the same figure we have, and out of that parallelogram we have taken out one of the triangles. Okay, from here we have taken out one of the triangles, and when we do it, we will say this was our f1, this was our f1, which is 800 Newton, and again this is was f2. So from the parallelogram other side, this is from the triangle f2, and this is our fr acting. Okay, now between f1 and the fr, this your fr was lying along x-axis, so f1 and fr, the angle is 60, and between fr and f2 the angle is theta. So between fr and f2 the angle is theta. Okay, so these things are being mentioned. Okay, now remember the unknowns. The unknowns are f2, the theta, and fr, and remember f2 has to be a minimum. Okay, this is a very important condition. So we will basically when we have a minimum, we have to take importance of uh, the concept of hypotenuse and the concept of perpendicular. Okay, so just in case of using the Pythagoras theorems, we know that the hypotenuse will always be greater than the perpendicular component. Okay, so by just remembering that concept, it will be very easy to understand how to make f2 to be a minimum. Okay, so if you look, this was actually our f2. Okay, and if in order to make f2 minimum, we have to have the magnitude of f2 be lesser than the basically, and in order to make it lesser or minimum, you can see if this is our f2 and if this are f2, or if this is our f2, if this is our f2. Okay, these are all f2s and this is also our f2. If you look at it, these lengths, for example, this, you can say this is the hypotenuse length. Okay, this is the hypotenuse length, this is the hypotenuse length. They will always have a greater magnitude, but if I make my f2 and I force it to be a perpendicular, okay, make it vertical. Okay, so this vertical f2 magnitude will be less than this f2 or this f2, or for that sake this f2, because uh, compared to a hypotenuse, the perpendicular length will always be less. This is a special condition of Pythagoras theorem. Okay, the hypotenuse will always have a greater length. So we will say that we want to make this f2 perpendicular to fr, and when we make this condition, we can see the angle between f2 and fr becomes 90. Okay, so just taking use of this concept, and we basically proceed further. Okay, so he says the same thing what I have explained to you just right now. The triangle rule of fr is equals to f1 plus f2 as shown in figure 2.14b. Okay, since the magnitudes of length fr and fr are not specified, f2 can actually be any vector. Okay, so you can say it can be of any vector, nothing is being magnified. That is why I have taken so many f2s here. Okay, held touching the line of action of fr. However, as shown, the magnitude of f2 is a minimum or the shortest length when its line of action is perpendicular to the line of the action of fr, that I have just explained, which is this one. Okay, but there is a condition: when you do this, you have to have theta equals to 90 degrees. Okay, so this condition makes f2 to be a minimum in order to calculate that theta and f2 and consequently fr as well. All right, so this is the same condition. So we are interested in calculating fr. Okay, so we know if this is our f1. Okay, so we know if this is our f1, so what will be fr equals to? Fr will be equals to f1, which is 800, and the cosine of 60. Okay, 800 the cosine of 60, so this is fr comes out to be equals to 400 Newton. Now we are also interested in calculating f2. In order to calculate f2, we know this is our basically f1. Okay, and this is our fr. So f2 will be equals to f1 into sine of 60. So f2 will be equals to f1, which is 800 sine of 60. So what we calculated out over here is basically fr comes out to be equals to 400 Newton. See, the magnitude has decreased. Okay, actually the magnitude would have been maybe this one or this one, but here the magnitude has been decreased, and fr comes out to be equals to 400 Newton, and our f2, it comes out to be 693 Newton. And you can see that usually fr has to be the maximum, but here because of the special condition to f, in order to f2 make f2 the minimum, okay, for the respective fr, the basically f2 has increased the magnitude, f1 has an increased magnitude, but fr magnitude has been decreased. Okay, so this was a very typical problem. So I wanted to tell you and to show you how it has to be solved with this concept in mind. Okay, so I hope you have understood this concept, and I thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks and bye.